He was a boy named Noah. No one noticed. Barefoot, dust-covered, and invisible in a city that moved too fast to care. Days would pass without food, nights without shelter, yet his eyes never looked empty. They watched, calculated, learned. Hunger lived in his stomach, but curiosity lived in his mind. One afternoon, weak and exhausted, he wandered into a crowded wholesale market. The air smelled of fresh vegetables, sweat and noise. Vendors shouting, deals closing, carts moving. In one corner, a man sat beside piles and piles of lemons, yellow like little suns, stacked endlessly. A sign hung lazily. $1 for 5 kilograms. The boy sat beside him, quietly observing. After a few minutes, he gathered courage and said softly, "Can you give me $1? I haven't eaten for days." The vendor looked at him, torn clothes, sunken cheeks, and sighed. "Take it," he said, handing him $1 out of pity. But the boy didn't move. Instead, he said, "I want to buy 5 kilograms of lemons for $1. The vendor looked at him, then burst into laughter. 5 kilograms? What will you even do with all these lemons? Sell them right here in front of me? Or are you just being greedy?" The boy didn't react to the mocking tone. He stayed calm and said quietly, "Just sell them to me once." The vendor shook his head, still amused. "You're wasting your only $1. You could at least eat something with it." "But fine." He pushed the lemons toward him and smirked. "Here you go. Let's see what you can really make out of $1. The boy didn't argue. He just looked at him calmly. Amused, the vendor shook his head and said, "You know what? Take 5 kilograms. Let's see what your big idea does." The boy lifted the heavy bucket onto his small shoulders and walked back into the noisy streets. Then, with all the strength he had, he started shouting, "Fresh lemons! Only 1 kilogram for $1. Fresh lemons!" People turned, not because it was cheap, but because it was simple. No weighing confusion, no bulk buying, no effort. Within 10 minutes, his bucket was empty. He stood there, breathing heavily, holding $5 in his trembling hands. For the first time in days, he smiled. Instead of eating, he ran back to the same vendor and bought more. This time with his own money. Again he sold. Again he profited. Again and again. By evening, the boy who begged for $1 now had more money than he had ever seen in his life. The vendor watched all this silently. His laughter had turned into curiosity, then into respect. "Come tomorrow," the vendor said. "Work with me. Not as a beggar, as a partner." From that day, the boy was no longer just surviving. He was learning. He learned how people think, what they buy, why they buy, and how small changes create big demand. While others sold in bulk, he broke it into convenience. While others shouted prices, he sold solutions. Years passed. At 12, he wasn't just selling, he was advising vendors. At 14, he was managing multiple stalls, increasing profits for everyone around him. At 16, his strategies had caught the attention of the entire market. A market manager, impressed by his sharp mind and fearless thinking, gave him a chance, a real position. And he didn't waste it. He reorganized stalls, improved pricing strategies, introduced simple marketing tricks, and increased sales across the entire market. Where others saw routine, he saw opportunity. By 18, the boy who once slept hungry on the streets owned a thriving marketplace of his own, filled with vendors working under his system, his ideas, his vision. He didn't just sell fruits and vegetables anymore. He sold understanding. All of it, everything, started from a single moment. $1, a bucket of lemons, and a mind that refused to think small. Share your life-struggling stories in the comments, might be next. Video will be yours to influence others. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more inspiring videos, which can brighten your day with full of motivation.